Hey guys, today I want to talk about my experience with transphobia in living groups and psychiatric wards, and as well as dive into a little bit of detail of my experience with 10,000 Hours in a mini documentary that was made with me and Nicky Romero, and about the transphobic issues that are plaguing, at the very least, Dutch youth healthcare and adult healthcare. I'm going to head into this with a list of trigger warnings. 1. Transphobia. 2. Group homes and psychiatric wards. 3. Power abuse. 4. Sexual assault. 5. Discrimination, because this does dive into a lot of heavy detail about my experiences with transphobia. But I want this to be public because I think it should be clear that the Dutch healthcare is not good at all with transphobia, and something needs to change. When I was about 12 years old, I was living at a locked group home called Amsterdam Department Florijn Group D. I went home for a weekend to my mom's and found myself curious about what a day as a woman would be like. My mother fully supported my curiosity and let me borrow some clothes. In the end, I found out that that is who I am, a woman. And my curiosity had its reasons. So I didn't really ever come out, as I didn't know of the concept in the first place. Back at the group home, I expressed those feelings and found out that they are not as accepting as I thought people meant to take care of kids like myself would be expected to be. They pretty much immediately made clear that I am a man, not a woman. And if I were to defy that, I would be locked in my room. No food, no care, nothing. I was forced to feel alone and fend for myself. If I would get girls' clothes and wear those, they were completely willing to pin me to the ground, fixate me, undress me, lock me in my room, and tell me that I could wear fashionable men's clothes as I should, and I could then leave my room. I vividly recall that at one point when this happened again, I got so mad I tried to kick my door and wounded my foot by doing so. A person who I at the time considered a friend and also my first male crush, who I shall pseudonym Elias for privacy reasons, had always shown to be accepting of me. Unfortunately, I found out the hard way that that is not how things were. One day he defended me towards the counselors who were trying to fixate me again, and I thanked him, and after a few weeks of consideration I told him I had a crush on him. In hindsight, it's more likely that I was trying to find love to cope with the situation I was in, where love and kindness did not exist, and he was the only one who could give me that. He sooner or later started showing more of his true colors, and our intimate relationship ended up being used against me, as he would refuse to help me unless I did things for him that I cannot mention here on social media. You can fill in the blanks yourself. So at this point I was consistently going through SA, physical abuse, discrimination, and power abuse from people who have a role to take care of me. Somewhere at that time, an organization called 10,000 Hours had an event organized at my group where celebrity DJ Nicky Romero came to visit us and paint some walls, which I guess was a nice breath of fresh air. Taking a wild leap, I let him hear a song that I had burned to a CD that I had called Forever and Never. To my surprise, he promised me that he would eventually come back to make the song with me. Also around this time, I had decided to tell the counselors about the essay that I had been going through with Elias, expecting at least some very basic humanity, as they couldn't possibly be completely evil, right? Unfortunately, once again, I was naive and proved wrong. All I got back was that she-males do not deserve rights. In other words, I was not considered someone with rights, told not to be human. Eventually, I developed a psychosis because of this and believed myself to be an alien, as I dissociated myself from the idea that I was a human being with basic human being rights. From that point on, I am missing a very large gap of my memory, so unfortunately we will need to skip forward. I eventually moved back to my mom's house without permission and in due time got written out from Florijn. Though, considering my psychiatric and psychological problems had only gotten worse from all that, and not being over my psychosis yet, I eventually lost my cool and got placed in the same crisis center, the Bascule, where I had been before I moved to Florijn. After a lot of extensions in my time living there, as they were looking for a new group home for me to live in, while telling me I would be going back home, I moved to a living group called the Olivina. It had been made very clear that I was to be named Yuriko and not by my dead name, which we shall dub J. and that I went by she, her pronouns, which is now they, she/she, they. To Olivina by the Bascuda when I moved there. Considering my past experiences with being trans in living groups, I was convinced that them knowing that I was assigned male at birth would put me in massive danger. But Olivina did not get the message, and I was immediately introduced by the counselors with, "Hey guys, this is a new guy, his name is Jay." Even though most people accepted me there, this caused the first panic attack I can vividly remember, as I felt I was thrown back into Florijn after finally escaping that hellhole. Luckily for me, the world was slowly becoming more accepting of my identity, and I was starting to feel more comfortable being myself, even if some kids at the local school did bully me and call me transphobic slurs from time to time. Eventually, due to reasons I'll keep private, the Olivina relocated elsewhere on the terrain and was renamed de Regenboog, which translates to the rainbow. Early after moving there, we got a message from my assigned legal guardians saying that some Nicky Romero wanted to make a song with me. Of course, I knew what was up, but was still surprised he kept to what he said back at Florijn. Of course, I agreed. What I didn't realize is that the same organization from back then, 10,000 Hours, was behind this event as well. They decided we were going to make a mini documentary about me making a song with my idol. Now, I will tell you all something very important. Never meet your heroes. During the production of the song, as well as the documentary, which is linked in the description if you want to see it for yourself, he would consistently misgender me. And off camera, if I told him, "Hey Nikki, it's she, not he," he would groan and say something along the lines of, yeah, she, I get it. He put in literally zero effort to respect my identity and just put on a big smile for the camera. Funny enough, him saying my pronouns wrong without giving a damn didn't ring some alarm bells for the people making the documentary, so you can literally see and hear him do it in 1080p. They also invited the manager of Onstokkenaat at the time, as well as back during my experience, Kim de Witte, who had a massive influence on the events that went down. Contrarily to Nikki, she actually made the effort to not seem like her transphobic self on camera. Other than that, she introduced me as a boy who wants to be a girl and wears girls' clothes. Eventually, I never got to follow the song and have been completely ghosted by 10,000 Hours, as well as Nicky Romero and anyone involved. Side note, they also tried to sell my song, saying I would get credit for it. And even though I consider myself, my past self, also my current self actually, an idiot, I obviously told them, nah, no, that ain't happening. Nowadays, I'm living happily as a woman and am on hormone replacement therapy, but the path it took to get here was full of pain and suffering and abuse. I know that some people might not believe my story, and that's fine. On a positive note, Onstokkenaat's Florijn location where I lived back then is permanently shut down. And I don't know if there may have been a whistleblower or something, but I can guess why they would be shut down pretty easily, of course. Now, to finish off this video, I want to say that no matter who you are, what you identify with or as, be yourself. Don't ever let anybody tell you what to do with your body. Clear? Capiche? Good. Now with that, I will see you all a circle.